Heather Dixon Brown and Piper Ross's dynamic is fueled by competitiveness unique to the female experience in contemporary times. Hi people studying extinction, welcome back to Lisa's Study Guides. You know I've got your back, and that's why we spent this year creating the Extinction Study Guide from you. So with today's video, I will be pulling out a little short excerpt from our study guides just to show you a way of how you can approach essay prompts when it comes to the text extinction, give you a few tips and send you off on your way so that you can do a stellar job in your SAC or exam. Now, one piece of foundational knowledge you're going to need to know is different interpretations by different readers in order to execute this particular essay prompt that we're looking at today. So I've talked about different interpretations by different readers a little bit on this channel before, so I'll make sure to link that for you so you can have a watch before you finish watching the rest of this video, because today we're going to be talking about the feminist lens. I won't be talking about the feminist lens in detail in this video, but it is one of the must-know VCA criteria points I discuss in my How to Write a Killer Text Response study guide. It's particularly relevant to this text because by viewing your text through a feminist lens, you're able to get so much more out of your discussion. Think of it this way. You can wear all sorts of glasses when you're wearing a text. A feminist lens, a pro-sustainability lens, an eco-critical lens. If you were to put these lenses on, how would it change your interpretation of the text? By adopting this advanced way of approaching a text, you undoubtedly wow examiners away because you're able to discuss your text on a level that majority of students aren't even aware of. I'll touch more on feminism and eco-critical lens at the end of this video. So assuming that you are familiar with feminist lenses, let's get into this character-based prompt. We're going to use our think and execute strategy here. And that's step 1, analyze, step 2, brainstorm, and then step 3, create a plan. I won't be going into this into detail because again, feel free to get a refresher in the How to Write a Killer Text Response ebook. And with that in mind, let's start with step 1, analyze. This prompt specifies 2 characters, Dixon Brown and Piper, and therefore mandates an in-depth discussion of them within your essay. It's important that you don't just focus on Dixon Brown and Piper though, and because even though they're very important to extinction, they're not the only relevant characters. In order to ensure that your discussion covers enough of the text, ensure that your brainstorming stage, so the next bit, includes ideas and themes exemplified by other characters not inside the essay topic and how they relate to the ones that are specified, so Dixon Brown and Piper. Moving into step 2, brainstorm. I think we can agree with the prompt, but not entirely. Dixon Brown and Piper do experience competitiveness between themselves as 2 women in the 21st century, but it's not the only factor impacting their relationship dynamic. Female competitiveness in relationships and desirability, like having sex with Harry without the other one knowing. I'll make sure to use Dixon Brown's quotes about competition. And what I'll do here is not just say it as a general competition, but look at it in terms of sex, sexuality, what's desirable, so looking at the young versus old dichotomy. So diving into the young and old, here I could elaborate on what's wanted and what's considered attractive versus what's no longer given in value. And you've got a lot of great prompts from Dixon Brown, who refers to her own age and showcasts her insecurities when she compares herself with Piper. Then I'd probably want to talk about idealism and pragmatism, separate from the sphere of gender, and it has its roots more in politics and as contrasting schools of thought, and I'll show you how to do this in the planning section. And as I talk about all these points, I'm going to adopt traits from a feminist lens. I'm going to focus on the women experience, power dynamics, their relationships with men, and also when they can speak versus when they can't, etc. Step 3, create a plan. Paragraph 1. Contemporary demands for female competitiveness undoubtedly underlie the dynamics between Dixon Brown and Piper Ross. Under the modern-day patriarchy, women are encouraged to compete over social resources, reputation, desirability, and crucially to extinction, one's sex and sexuality against the context of men. Both women are attracted to Harry, and eventually both engage in covert sexual relationships that compromise the integrity of the Tiger Quoll project. Beneath the veneer of assertiveness, Dixon Brown's underlying insecurities expose her treatment of Piper as a rival. Although she openly denounces Harry's assumption that "you thought I wanted to compete for your affections," she nevertheless demands to know if Harry is quite smitten with Piper. Dixon Brown tries to distance herself from such romantic bindings, insisting that she doesn't need a relationship, and thus subconsciously pitting herself as Piper's opposite. In other words, a competitor for the different instances of Harry's affection. Racine is quick to highlight and consequentially reject this modern female infighting, arguing that the insecurities as birthed from the patriarchy directly and unnecessarily demean the relationships between women. Paragraph 2. The primary source of female conflict between Dixon Brown and Piper is that of their incongruent ages. Racine maintains that the tension between younger and older individuals contributes massively to the wider tenseness in their dynamic. Patriarchal values dictate that the value of a woman decreases with age. Dixon Brown claims that Harry would prefer a younger woman, implying that her desirability has decreased with the increase of age. The professor's obsession with appearances and reputation as a woman is almost completely absent in Racine's consideration of Piper, who is actively pursued by both Andy and Harry throughout the play. She is adored by the former, and the latter is enthusiastic at the prospect of making love like that again during Act 2, Scene 1. Racine attacks the systems of patriarchal value that have driven both women to resist and distrust each other in the first place. Paragraph 3. Conversely, while the spheres of politics certainly overlap occasionally within feminism and the question of female competition, they nevertheless form a largely distinct motivation behind the conflict between Piper and Dixon Brown. Piper and Dixon Brown's dynamic is perhaps most aptly summarized in Act 1, Scene 2, with the introduction of the Dixon Brown Index. Dixon Brown claims that 5,000 is the latest magic number with which to determine what animal populations are most feasible to make conservation efforts towards. Piper criticizes the index immediately, pointing out the ridiculousness of having it applied to every mammal on Earth, regardless of any other relevant factors. To Piper, every animal's life is worth saving, whether they be killer whales or teeny potoroos. Dixon Brown, by contrast, must live in the real world and exists at the mercy of funding, of which there is only so much to go around. The tension within the dynamic thus bears this underlying current of idealism versus pragmatism, and persists even after the primary establishment of the Tiger Quoll project. So there you have it. We've gone through analysing, brainstorming, and creating a plan for this essay. What I want you guys to do now is try to write up a full essay based on this essay topic. And if you're keen to look at a full version of this plan, so the full essay, fully annotated by Tasha, our Extinction Study Guide author and also LSG tutor. She achieved a study score of 50 in English, so you just know that the stuff is going to be incredible. The advice, I should say, is going to be incredible in the study guide. Then make sure you head on and have a look. You can even download a free sample on just to get a sneak peek of what's inside the study guide to see if it's right for you. Tasha and I made sure that we focused on really offering you meaningful and practical advice in there. We don't just want to give you more stuff to read. We actually want you to have a resource that's actually going to benefit you in your Saxon exams. And that's why we've included these more advanced areas of English, like looking through critical lenses, like looking at structural features, so that you can really amp up your essay writing to that next level and just maybe boost your marks and possibly even get a 50 like Tasha. I will be releasing more videos on extinction in the future, so make sure you subscribe and stay tuned, and don't forget to like this video if you found it helpful. Can I just say, by the way, that the cover of Extinction is absolutely beautiful. Can we just appreciate it for a moment? Seriously, the products at LSG, I know I'm just like sounding like I'm up myself, but man, they are so beautiful. we put a lot of hard work into these study guides, so I don't know, just a moment of appreciation. Take care, guys. Talk to you later. Bye.